The world you live in is far stranger than it looks on the surface. There's a river that boils, a country with no rivers at all, and a city that's sinking faster than any other place on Earth. Today, you're about to discover 50 incredible facts about our world that sound completely unbelievable, but every single one of them is true. Welcome to Trivex, where knowledge meets curiosity. Stay with us until the end. The last few facts will completely change how you see our planet. Part 1. Earth's strangest places. There's a river in the Amazon that actually boils, reaching temperatures of up to 93 degrees Celsius, hot enough to cook anything that falls in. Locals call it the Chennai Timpishka, meaning boiled with the heat of the sun. In Australia, there's a lake that's naturally bright pink, known as Lake Hillier. Its color comes from salt-loving bacteria that thrive even when the water is dried into salt crystals. Venice, Italy is sinking, but not only because of rising sea levels. The city's wooden foundations are slowly compressing into the muddy ground below. In the Philippines, there's a volcano inside a lake, which itself sits inside another volcano's crater. It's called Taal Volcano, one of the most picturesque and dangerous in the world. Africa is the only continent literally splitting apart. The East African Rift is slowly tearing the land in two. Scientists say it might one day form a brand new ocean between them. Part 2. Unbelievable cities and countries. The entire country of Libya has no rivers, not even one permanent stream. To survive, it relies on underground aquifers known as the Great Man-Made River. Russia spans 11 time zones, the most of any country on Earth. That means when people in one corner eat breakfast, others are already asleep in the same nation. In Japan, there's a train station with no entrance or exit. Passengers can only get off, not on. It was built for people to stop briefly and admire the untouched natural scenery around it. San Marino is one of the world's oldest republics, founded in the year 301 AD. It's still completely independent, surrounded by Italy, but proud of its ancient freedom. Canada has more lakes than all other countries in the world combined. In fact, over 60% of the world's lakes are located within Canadian borders. Part 3. Nature's craziest secrets. Lightning strikes Earth about 8 million times per day. That's about 100 strikes every single second, somewhere on the planet. The Sahara Desert wasn't always a sea of sand. Just 5,000 years ago, it was covered in grasslands, rivers, and even hippos. There's an eternal lightning storm in Venezuela, known as Catatumbo lightning. It strikes the same area over 250 nights a year, producing thousands of flashes every night. Antarctica holds 70% of the world's freshwater in its ice. If it melted completely, global sea levels would rise by almost 60 meters. Despite the ice, Antarctica is technically the largest desert on Earth. It gets less rainfall than the Sahara, making it one of the driest places on the planet. Part 4. Weird geographical facts. You can fit the entire human population inside Los Angeles if everyone stood shoulder to shoulder. That shows how tiny we are compared to the vastness of Earth. The Dead Sea is so salty you can float effortlessly. Its high mineral content also makes it one of the world's most unique natural spas. There's a place in the Pacific where water flows both ways, called the Convergence Zone. It's where the northern and southern ocean currents crash into each other in an endless tug of war. Mount Everest is still growing, gaining a few millimeters in height each year. This is because the Indian tectonic plate continues to push against Asia. At the top of Mount Everest, you can find fossilized seashells. That's because millions of years ago, the mountain was part of the ocean floor. Part 5. Time, travel, and territory. The longest place name in the world has 85 letters and belongs to a hill in New Zealand. Locals can pronounce it easily, but most tourists can't get past the first 5 syllables. There's a country that technically has 2 different time zones, just because of one tiny island. France's overseas territories stretch so far that sunrise happens hours apart within the same nation. In Alaska, you can literally see tomorrow across the Bering Strait. On one side is the US, and just a few kilometers away, you can spot Russia, already a day ahead. There's a village in Norway where the sun doesn't rise for 2 months every winter. Strangely, locals celebrate it instead of mourning the darkness. The world's shortest international flight takes just 90 seconds. It connects 2 islands in Scotland, and yes, the flight is shorter than the check-in process. Part 6. Life on Earth. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. Scientists estimate over 3 trillion trees exist, compared to around 200 billion stars in our galaxy. The Mariana Trench, Earth's deepest point, is over 11 kilometers deep. If Mount Everest were placed inside, its peak would still be underwater. Octopuses have 3 hearts and blue blood. 2 hearts pump blood to the gills, while the third supplies the rest of the body. There's a species of jellyfish that can live forever. When injured or old, it reverts to a younger state and starts life again, earning the nickname immortal jellyfish. Some turtles can breathe through their rear ends underwater. This adaptation helps them survive during long winters under ice. Part 7. Climate and extremes. The hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth was 56.7 degrees Celsius, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, in Death Valley, USA. That's hot enough to fry an egg on the rocks. The coldest temperature ever recorded was minus 89 degrees Celsius, minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit in Antarctica. At that temperature, metal becomes brittle and can shatter like glass. The windiest place on Earth is Mount Washington in the US, where gusts reached 372 kilometers per hour. That's stronger than most hurricanes. The rainiest city in the world is Mawsynram, India. It gets over 11 meters of rain every year, more than most countries see in a decade. The driest place isn't the Sahara, but the Atacama Desert in Chile. Some weather stations there have never recorded a single drop of rain. Part 8. Human-made marvels. The Great Wall of China is not visible from space with the naked eye, despite popular belief. Astronauts have confirmed that it blends into the landscape too well to be seen. During World War II, Paris built fake buildings above real ones to hide factories from enemy bombers. From the sky, it looked like a quiet residential neighborhood. Gustave Eiffel secretly built a small apartment inside the Eiffel Tower. He used it to entertain guests, including famous scientists like Thomas Edison. The Burj Khalifa in Dubai is so tall that you can watch the sunset twice, once from the base and again from the top a few minutes later. The Great Pyramid of Giza once shone like a mirror. It was covered with polished limestone that reflected sunlight so brightly it could be seen miles away. Part 9. Strange human connections. Every 2 people on Earth are connected by fewer than 6 degrees of separation. That means you're likely linked to anyone on the planet through 6 friends or fewer. More humans have visited the moon than the deepest point of the ocean. The mystery of our own planet remains greater than that of outer space. Humans and bananas share about 60% of the same DNA. It's a reminder that all life on Earth is surprisingly interconnected. In a small village in Turkey, people communicate using whistles instead of spoken language. The sound can travel across valleys, carrying entire conversations. Every language on Earth changes over time, even English. If you spoke with someone from 500 years ago, you'd barely understand each other. Part 10. Final facts that change how you see the world. The world's population triples every 70 years, while the land stays exactly the same. That's why urban space and resources are becoming more valuable than ever. The oldest known map is over 14,000 years old, carved into stone by prehistoric humans. It shows rivers, hills, and paths, the first attempt to make sense of our surroundings. If Earth were the size of a basketball, its atmosphere would be thinner than a sheet of paper. That thin layer is all that protects us from space. More than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. Scientists say we know more about Mars than the depths of our own seas. And if you could shrink Earth down to the size of an apple, it would be smoother than the apple's skin. Mountains and oceans are tiny imperfections on an otherwise perfect sphere. The world is full of wonders, and we've barely scratched the surface. Which of these facts amazed you the most? Tell us in the comments. And if you want to keep learning the most fascinating truths about our planet and beyond, don't forget to subscribe to Trivex, where curiosity never ends.